Am I doing this right?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, dude? My camera
Bro.
all blurry?
Oh, yeah, it's all right. Oh, am I blurry?
I think I'm blurry. No. I'm straight. Okay.
Oh,
What's up,
yeah.
man?
Bro, finally get to meet you, bro.
Don't be that excited. It's something crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
How's quarantine been, man?
It is like what the heck? It is as uh draining as I thought it would be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like terrible because I've had a lot of time to like work on other things and sort of like expand like the catalog of like music and stuff I've been working on.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I learned how to solve a Rubik's cube, like I don't know.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
I've been staying really busy though. Like I mean, I'm still like putting in the hours each day, like practicing or whether
Right.
it's like learning production and stuff like that. So
Gotcha. Yeah, you're still working for Heavy Hitters, right?
I
Heavy
am,
Hit.
yeah. So Heavy Hits like the website, I'm still like an editor and like content manager for them and stuff like that.
Oh, for
hmm
real?
hmm Yeah.
Dude, that's dope, man.
So every playlist that's on the site, I'm pretty much responsible for or making sure it gets put together at some point in time.
Wow. Dude,
Yeah.
that's big, bro.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
people will email me and stuff like that to be like, yo, I need this up or something like that. And then I'm the guy who gets it done for them, or I'm the one curating like all of like the exclusive edit playlists and stuff like that for other DJs to use around the world and stuff like that.
got you, man. That's
hmm
freaking big, dude. What's your favorite edit that you've ever made on there?
I don't know. I've liked a lot of the mashups I've been doing. There was one I did of it was it's going down Young Jock into What Up Gangsta 50 Cent.
Bruh. Yeah.
Yeah. So and it was like a wordplay edit.
Hmm.
So on that edit, it was like right where he says, meet me in the trap, it's going down or something like that. I would just loop like the 50 Cent part over it, and it's just like a direct wordplay edit. So that was like one of like the like second or third edits I ever gave him. So that was like 2.5 years ago now.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh, so you've been
Yeah.
working with them for a couple years now.
Dude, I was still doing my day job when I started being an editor for them.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh, so
Yeah.
you quit your day job and you're full time.
Yeah. So what?
So you quit your day job and you're full time heavy hits.
Yeah, well, no, not necessarily. So I started DJing full time about 2 years ago now. But I started doing edits or heavy hits about 2.5 years ago now. It was
Got
about 6 months before I quit my day job. I'm out of like Richmond, Virginia right now, and I was currently like traveling, like a traveling consultant and stuff like that. Like just graduated college, didn't know if DJing was going to pay the bills or not.
right.
Like all those sort of like normal worries anyone would have at that age. So one of the guys who runs Heavy Hits just found me on Instagram one day and he was like, "Hey, do you make like DJ edits?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." I mean, I know my way around FL Studio and Ableton. So at that point, I've been using Ableton for a while now, and then I ended up sending them a few edits, and then like a lot of people downloaded them or something like that, and then they just said, "Hey, you should
Got
keep sending us stuff," like. So and then it kind of just grew from there. But and then I don't do heavy hits full time. Like it's more of like part time work. I still do like editing and content management and stuff like that. So I have a heavy workload for them right now,
yeah.
but everyone kind of runs as independent contractors through the company right now.
Oh, got you. Man, so yeah, you've been. I see you in a lot of places on on the East Coast. So I've seen you in Richmond. I've seen
hmm
you in DC too.
hmm
That's pretty crazy. Like, so
Yeah,
do you just like have homies and stuff that you just travel with and just do?
No, not necessarily. So how it works is I have like multiple aliases that I operate under. So I have like my AndOne profile, which is all like my college and club stuff, and then I go by my actual like biological name. That does all my like corporate and stuff like that. And then my corporate stuff is actually through a talent agency. So the talent agency books me for everything, and I travel all over for that. And those are like the ones that like I do those gigs and I'm like, all right, this is rent for the month, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I bet.
So yeah, you know, like was it like BB&T and SunTrust merged or something like that like a year ago?
Oh, uh-huh.
They announced like some big merger. I was DJing that event with like one of my friends. Like that was like one of the events I got to do. So they do like stuff like that.
Wow. Oh, and
Hmm.
this is East Coast Entertainment, right?
Yes. Yep. 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 Yep.
Got, got you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope, man. So do they like book you for like events and weddings and stuff like that?
Hmm. All of that, but it's more like not like bougie stuff, but it is one of those things where that is like I've had the chance to DJ at some places where I walk in and I'm like, yo, this suit this guy's wearing is like $6,000.
Yeah,
Like, I'm just like,
yeah,
okay, this is kind of ridiculous.
yeah.
We can chill though. It's really fun. It's definitely without them, I probably would not be living as comfortably as I am now. I mean, I would like to think I'm on the younger side of DJing. Like I'm 24 right now, about to be 25, and
Mhm.
like I'm very comfortable where I'm at. Like I'm chilling.
Yeah,
So
like you said, you started DJing 2 years ago, and you got to where you are right now. That's pretty
full
crazy.
time, full time. I mean, I've been DJing
Oh,
for like 5 to 6 years though, you know?
oh, got you, got you, got
Yeah, yeah. But it was the normal like practice in your bedroom, you know, like keep working at it, stuff like that. And then I just got lucky because I was at a small college.
you.
So like no one was doing it where I was at.
Yeah,
So like the barrier for entry was non-existent. So I was like, I was like a set of turntables, and then it kind of just went from there.
yeah. So
Mm.
that like your DJ name first off is like really catchy to me for some reason. Like oh DJ and one. Oh,
Hmm.
that's very memorable. Like
Yeah.
what made you get into that? Is that are you into basketball at all or?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's funny you bring that up because I always have to remind people of that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I think DJing a lot of it is like having control. You know what I mean? Like when people are like crazy scratching, like Chris Villa or something like that, you sit there and you're like, "Yo, what? Like how do they do that?" You know? And you
Yeah.
kind of have to have like crazy handles in DJing like you do in basketball. So it's
Mhm.
one of those things where it's kind of like an homage to like both things at the same time. Because I feel like without those things, I mean, those like kind of go hand in hand.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yeah.
uh-huh. And I think it's also like basketball as well as like that sort of like and one brand has always like resonated heavily with hip hop. And that's like 99% of what I do is like all hip hop. So,
Got you.
mhm.
So is that the vibe out there? Pretty much like hip hop, like on the East Coast where you DJ?
Yeah, dude, for like Richmond and stuff like that right now, it's not like top 40. Like I'm not sitting there like crushing like a Taylor Swift record or anything like that on the daily.
Yeah.
But obviously you're playing like your classic, like before all like the COVID stuff happened. I mean, you could run an early 2000s set like the whole night. Like I could, like that's pretty much it. Like, cause that's like the demographic I'm playing for at bars and stuff like that out here.
Sure.
Um, I'm playing like Sean Paul. Then you can like switch that up, and then you like kind of. It's almost like you're going like decade by decade. You know, you're progressively going from like at the start of the night, I'll be playing, like Nelly and stuff like that. But at the end of the night, I'm playing like Act Up by City Girls, and it's like get on top of the table and like go crazy.
Go crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a very sweaty situation. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good time.
I know how that. Yeah. Is it pretty similar to DC too? Because I know you DJ up there.
I don't do a lot of like clubs in DC right now. Obviously, definitely don't. Because like none of that's open right now. But in DC, I would say like all the events that I've done up there, like you can you can broaden horizons more. Like Richmond is very like one lane. That's the way it is. You almost have to go a little bit on the basic side is what I tell people too. Like when you're in Richmond, you gotta kind of like put your like DJ pride to the side. Like I'm not dropping like Afro beats like for like 3 hours in Richmond. Like that's not gonna fly. Everyone's gonna be like, "What is this?" And I'm gonna be like, "This is Burna Boy. Like this is a banger." You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Do you have Spice Girls?" And I'm just like, you know,
Oh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but it is different. But at the same time, like I still do get to like venture around and stuff like that. Like you can still play like current hip hop as well. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, Richmond is a very like alternative like punk rock city.
Mm,
So it's very interesting how it kind of works. There is a predominantly like hip hop culture like in the area, but a lot of those people who really like hip hop really loved like golden era like mixtape music and stuff like that. So it's more like boom bap stuff, which is great.
yeah,
Um, but that doesn't really resonate into nightlife that prominently.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Like we may all like heard of those people, but we don't expect to play them in the club, you know?
Oh my gosh, yeah, are you kidding me? Like, you know how much I would love to just run like a Tribe Called Quest and Wu Tang all night, but like that's not my thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a guy here called DJ Neely Neal. He did Wu Tang Wednesdays in town, and those are really cool. I never got the chance to really go to one of them, but I was always like super pumped that like someone was doing something like that around town.
dude, that's amazing. Wu-Tang Wednesdays. I never
Yeah,
thought.
yeah, yeah. Some clever alliteration out of the man. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a smart
yeah,
fella. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it's like old
Mhm.
school hip hop and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like those nights are like Wednesdays. It's like a cigar lounge from what I
Mm,
saw. So it's like he would just be like playing, and then sometimes he would have people come in and spin like only vinyl sets and stuff like that. So
got
like
you.
not like control vinyl, like actual like pull out your crates, like go out there and DJ kind of thing.
Got you, for sure.
Hmm.
That's dope, man. Yeah, we got a couple of stuff like that down here too. It's not
Yeah.
predominant, but yeah, there
Where are
is.
you at exactly?
Oh, I don't live exactly in Portland, but
Hmm.
I go to all my events and stuff down there, and all my friends and stuff that DJ are down there.
Yeah.
So there's like you know, there like down there, there's groups of people that actually like do the vinyl DJing stuff, and they have a big following. And then there's also scratchers that have their own following, and then there's like club DJs, and then we all know each other, but we don't like f with each other all together, kind of thing. You know, we're all in different areas.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's also kind of hard to go see someone else DJ the same night you're DJing. That's kind of
Oh,
impossible.
for
Yeah.
sure, man, for sure.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, so yeah, do you tour anywhere else? Like
I mean, I always view touring as like so when someone says touring, I think like, oh, you have like 6 months lined up. We're going around the country. But like, yeah, I traveled like a bunch of different spots and stuff like that. I'm trying to like dip my toes more in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Raleigh. That's like the next kind of like big step that I want to take.
mm,
It's like dip my toes into those markets, as well as like showcasing like production and like things like that. But the production isn't the goal isn't to generate like shows or anything based off of like my music production.
mm.
It's more of just like to give people something to listen to like on the weekday kind of
uh,
thing. Hmm.
gotcha. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
and
yeah,
you were in Charlotte like probably like back in October or something of last year, I
yeah.
think.
Hmm.
And you
Yeah.
did what was interesting, I saw you did like a couple vlogs. Um,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
yeah.
we were there for Breakaway Music Festival. I have like another. I probably should have mentioned this earlier. Is I also because like with those multiple aliases, when I was in college, I also started a production company. So what I always recommend to like other people too is like, yeah, you could be like a dope ass DJ, like that's great, but you need to have something else that like can also cover your bills. Like if you're gonna do it full time, like you have to teach yourself like how to do every different aspect of it of a show. So like for example, I know how to program a whole lighting show. I know how to like set up sound for an event. Like and then, I also know how to DJ, or at least I'd like to think I mildly know what I'm doing at sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you have like all of those things, you kind of just become this entity where like, all right, maybe this person doesn't want a DJ, maybe they just want lights. But then you can charge them for those lights, you know? And let's
Yeah.
say you end up finding someone else who knows how to do lights, but maybe doesn't have the gear for it. You can book them to go do lights while you go DJ another night, and then you're making two stacks of cash one
Yeah.
night. So you're technically two places at once. So, and that's kind of like things that I have lined up in the fall. Like there's gigs where like I'll be DJing in town, but someone wants to do some like after party with like like silent disco stuff. Like I have like a full set of like silent disco headphones that I run. So I just rent them out to other people and then I just make cash without even being there.
Wow. So you have like a full set. Cause silent disco is pretty expensive, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a
It
full.
costs a lot too though. So like I spent all this money on it. So I was like, I hope this is mildly like
Yeah.
pricey for an event. So
Wow, that's smart, man. Dude, I never
yeah.
thought that
hmm
either.
It's nice. I would say like because you have like usually what? You're usually running your like S9. You have like PLX 1000s, right? Like the turntables.
Yeah, I play on those. And so,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I started on like a little like I mean I'm on like Record Box now, but I started on like a tiny little like SR, you know what I
mm,
mean, with like the laptop and like all that jazz, and my computer was about to explode every night because it just sounded like it was like breathing like just like running like crazy. It was just
yeah,
awful.
yeah.
But like it somehow survived the night. Yeah. Yeah, that shit was terrible. But then what ended up happening was we took on like other things. So like let's say I get paid like 150 bucks a DJ at a bar. Like when I was in college, I would just bank that money on the side. Jobs, like my multiple day jobs that I had to pay like food and other things.
Yeah.
And then I would save that money on the side and then buy speakers. And then through those speakers would do gigs for $300.
Mm.
Same thing. Then by $600, then it just kept going up and up and up and up and up. And then eventually I had enough to do like 1,000 people outdoor shows, had enough to do lights for a full college party, like stuff like that. And then you kind of like build your way up to where then you become like the Swiss Army knife of anything that like someone would need.
Yeah,
So,
dude. That's
mhm.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what like the talent agency wanted too, because like they found like East Coast Entertainment. You did your research. That's cool. You knew that actually. Not a lot of people know that. There was like I met like agents through them when I was like 20. Like I couldn't even like buy beer yet. Like I had like they had it was because you know how like colleges and universities have like these big budgets that they used to spend on like artists to come in and like perform at the school.
Mhm.
They booked Post Malone to come and perform at the university.
Mm.
So, but Post Malone was like 2 hours late to the show, like
Oh,
very, very late. And they were freaking out. And they're like, yo, but we have these DJs who have been like doing fill-in spots throughout the day on the side stage. Do you mind if we just like switch them around and have the DJ go for 2 hours? So like I was supposed to go on after Post Malone in between air, like the band they were supposed to play. And they ended up like said Post Malone was like 2 hours late. So then my 30-minute set turned into 2 hours. And I kind of just had to get on stage, like had been DJing for like year and a half maybe, and I'm just like, hey, like shitting myself basically. And then like I was DJing with a couple other friends at the time too. Um, and then through that, that's how we sort of like made that relationship. And they saw something like in us, I guess, and they kind of gave us some advice and some pointers on things we could do to like level up our game. And we just have continuously done that since. So.
yeah. Wow. That's
Mhm.
crazy. I'm sure you killed it though for Post Malone. And I'm sure you got
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was like it was one of those. It's like it's not like where he is at now. Like he had White Iverson had just come out. Like I'm talking like just bubbling. You know what I mean? Like probably still like 20 some K for a show. But now it's like dude selling out arenas. Like he's crushing it. You know.
yeah.
And I don't know what was going on in his life or whatever, but I was like, bro, you're 2 hours late. Like, come on. Like, I get no one knows who I am and no one cares, but like, that's
Yeah.
it's kind of nuts.
It is. It
You're
is.
like that late, bro. But
Man. So,
mhm.
yeah, you've opened up for a couple of people. Like, what would you say is the most memorable?
Gosh, in terms of just like overall, like, God, there's like multiple ways of describing it. I had a lot of fun doing like the Nappy Roots one when I opened up for them.
Hmm.
They're just like a really good group of guys, and they have one guy in the group who sounds just like Andre 3000. Like I was sitting there just like
Yeah.
like it was just like shocking to me.
You're from the same area too, right?
Um, I would say, gosh, what were some of the other ones? Post Malone was interesting just because it was like a logistic nightmare. Some EDM guys are really cool to do too. Like when colleges would have, there's this guy called Sasha Robati. He goes by he was in a group called Robosonic. It's like a big European like tech house guy. He did a show at UVA, and we did sound and lights for him. The guy went for 6 hours straight of just like tech house, like nonstop. Apparently, like one of my friends was like talking to him, and he landed, and he's in Virginia, and he literally says like, "I love Florida." Like he literally thought he was in the state of Florida, but he was DJing at UVA that night. Like he was like, the dude had like, I feel like barely ever been in the United States. So like those were like really funny moments when there's like this guy like speaking fluent German in front of me,
Yeah.
like just like jamming the tech house, and it's cool because like those are like very like really like broadens your perspectives on music. Like you get to like be exposed to all of these things that you wouldn't have been exposed to.
Yeah, definitely. Man, 6 hours, huh? Gosh.
Dude, I like the parties there start at like 10 p.m. or when like doors open,
Uh,
like for the house party. But
yeah.
the parties didn't end till like 6 in the morning.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. So like I was still in college at the time too.
Yeah.
So they did like parties at weird times too. They'd be like, "Oh, we're doing a Super Bowl party." Like when the what was it when the Falcons played the Patriots and the Patriots had that crazy comeback and won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That was like one of the nights that we were there. And I remember that night like very vividly because everyone wanted to watch the game, so the party didn't really start till midnight. All right.
Hmm.
Party ends about 6 a.m. And this is a Sunday or a Monday if I'm not. Either way, a weekday was like right the next day.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it because I was a junior and I had like an 8 a.m. class, like an 8:30 a.m. class the next day. So party goes until 6 in the morning, up all night. You know, I get there like at 4 p.m. the day of the Super Bowl. So I pretty much work from 4 p.m. to 6 a.m., drive an hour and a half back to where I went to school at. So it's 7:30 in the morning, drop the U-Haul off, 8 a.m., get back to my place, 8 o'clock, put
Go
my
to.
backpack on, and then I just go to class.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then
That's
like I'd be up all day,
yeah,
and then there was times where I didn't sleep for like 36 to like 48 hours. Like I was just like just going. So
dude. I don't
I
know,
don't
man.
do that now, but like I used to
Yeah.
really burn the oil. So it was pretty bad. So
Jeez, man. That is
mhm.
so crazy. And I saw you did you open up for Waka Flocka too?
I was stage managing that event.
Oh, okay.
So East Coast Entertainment asked me because one of the guys who was like responsible for that contract, yes, Waka Flocka was performing, and then Christian French was also like another like guy. He's like made a lot of like noise recently, but he was on the come up for like a few years. He's got sort of like a Khalid like R&B like acoustic like hip hop style about him that's really unique. So he was really good. He was doing some weird like voice warm-ups. It was hilarious to listen to. Like when artists do them, like it
Yeah.
was really weird. Like he was just making funny noises that I didn't think a human could make. So I was doing stage management for that. So pretty much my job that day was to like get on the phone and be like, all right, so you're flying in from here, you're flying in from here, like, and I just got like pretty much everyone's numbers for the day, and it was making sure that everyone got to their green room on time and was on stage on time when they were supposed to.
Mhm.
Because in like those like sort of like daytime festival situations, there's so many things that can go wrong. So many people can be
Oh yeah.
late. Like Post Malone being late for 2 hours was at that same school. So it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we don't want that F up to happen again. So like stay on their ass kind of thing.
Got you, got you.
In a nice way, like don't be a jerk.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's kind of just goes back to like making sure you're good, like a very well-rounded, like not only DJ, but just like an entertainment like professional. Because like I said, like able to stage manage, DJ, like entertain, lighting, sound, like everything. Like it's not just about DJing. Like that's how I'm able to make my living. You know what I mean? Like if I was just DJing in Richmond, Richmond doesn't pay locally like some high amount. Like I'm pretty sure we get paid like the same amount you and I to like DJ locally.
Mm,
Uh, but like
yeah,
traveling for like corporate stuff, for like stage managing an event like that, or doing lights for
mm,
like a high scale thing.
yeah. You're making double. You're making double or more. You know.
Yeah. It's like, do I want to like, I mean, I'm very transparent with things because I just think everyone should like know what's going on, like if they ever have any questions or anything. But like locally in Richmond, I could make anywhere between like 200 to maybe like $400 locally, right?
Yeah.
But if I do a corporate event or like something really, really like upscale, I remember like one of the first events I did was like a grand, but like some of the higher ones you get paid are like you can get paid upwards of like I don't get paid this much, but like I know people who have made like 5 grand in a day,
Mm,
like
gotcha.
one show, like it's just done.
Wow.
Like it's just like
Yeah.
they're making like you're making more money at those corporate events than like Vegas club DJs are. Like 100%. Like it like people say they want to be like that big club guy, but I'm like, I guarantee you your club guys are making
Hmm.
half maybe of what those like corporate guys are making.
Yeah. That's super crazy, man. That
Yeah.
you say. Yeah. I haven't really looked at it until now. Like the clubs, bars, and stuff. They don't do as much as the corporate stuff do. Like weddings, like
Yep.
company events. Definitely, I can prove pay a little more than what clubs do. That's so crazy. Yeah.
Oh,
For the
yeah.
money that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not like I wouldn't consider myself like a wedding guy by any like stretch of the imagination. Like
Yeah.
I that's not my cup of tea. Like I hate doing the whole like and now, ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the dance floor for the first. Like, it's literally like I have to like rue myself up and be like, all right, you're gonna give this speech and it's gonna be beautiful, like kind of thing. You know what I mean? You gotta like hype yourself up for it.
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is that do you want to be a full time DJ? And if the answer is yes, you have to manage your expectations. Like you can't like sit here and think that like you can have that be your goal, but off the jump, you're not gonna become some like traveling like Armin van Buren kind of like thing that you know what I mean. You're not gonna be some like dude that like you're like Martin Garrix, one in a billion. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
But like, and some people look at that and think that's gonna happen. And my friends and I like to call that a lottery mentality. But you really have to like put in like the fucking time and effort if you really want to like get there. Like it is a grind, for sure. Like learning all that stuff. Like no one ever taught me anything except for Joel right there. Joel taught me things. But like no one ever taught me like sound and lights or anything like that. Like we all kind of had to just learn it on our own. Like Joel and I were like pretty much just learning things as we went, and that's how we like got to where we are now. So.
Gotcha. What's up?
My boy Joel's in the comments right now. He's cheesing right now. He's such a troll. It's ridiculous. Um, but yeah, yeah.
Great. Yeah. Speaking of that, friends and stuff, you have. I saw a video of you that you did with one of your buddies that he was drumming, and you were DJing.
hmm Yeah, yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
how did that go?
It was cool. So JD is like another one of my friends from like college, and we've always wanted to do like musical like projects together, but like never really had like a chance to. But when I moved back to Richmond, that was sort of like our opportunity to do that. And I kind of taught him a little bit of DJing and stuff, and he's kind of like went on his own and like done a few of those things as well. He's gotten in with like East Coast Entertainment as well too, and has been doing like some good work with them. But we were sitting there talking, we're like, we live 15 minutes away from each other. Why don't we just make this happen some way, somehow?
Yeah.
So pretty much he had a practice space that his like band kind of like worked out of, and it was like, it's this place, it's literally just like plywood, like just carved out. So it's this tiny, just like sweat box of like a place. So you're like dying, like sweating in this place.
Yeah.
And we just pretty much just loaded all our stuff in there one day after I finished DJing on a weekend. It was a Sunday. And then we kind of just jammed out for a little bit. And then next week we're like, hey, we should just mic everything up and just see what happens. And then we kind of just did a couple bedroom sessions. And then ECE was like, hey, you should really keep doing that. You know, like that's a good idea. And I think it all just, you know, it all just stemmed out of just like that creative like energy, you know, like constantly wanting to like do something different or like be creative. Cause you know, like if you do only weddings for a long time, you're kind of just going to be like,
oh yeah,
like, yeah, like over it. Or like, even if you do like the same bar gig or club gig over and over again, you're like, all right, I'm really tired of sicko mode right now. Can we please do something else? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a heater, but it's still not like the same thing. So
it's not, and I feel like that's why a lot of people quit DJing or you know their jobs in general, because they get tired of doing the same thing over and over. You know?
it's kind of wash and repeat.
So you gotta be diverse. Like what you're doing is like you're on heavy hits, you're on East Coast Entertainment, you're like traveling to do gigs and stuff. You're with buddies, like you know making creative videos. So props to you, man. Speaking of creative videos, though, like I think my favorite and most memorable video that you did was the one where you started off with Bruno Mars, where he says "tonight," and then he goes into Kendrick Lamar, "All right," and then you go into Avicii, "Wake Up."
Yeah, dude, that was like.
Dude.
Oh my God. So that video, God, what did oh gosh, what was the song?
What's up, Eds?
Oh, I took the da from the acapella. I took the da from the acapella and then I juggled that. Yeah. Dude, that was okay, so that video, right? That video was when I still had like an iPad. Like I was recording all of my routines on an iPad and then transferring them over to like iMovie and then was editing them on there. And then after I moved it all over, I like just put a filter on it and then like posted it. Like that was it. Like there was nothing special about it. Like, and also that video, I had to only touch the turntable, like an actual like vinyl turntable. That was like, I probably had that for like 2 to 3 weeks. That was the first time I ever had vinyl.
Wow, really?
Yeah, dude, if you go back and watch the video, you're like, yo, this kid isn't scratching at all. It's because like I didn't have any idea how to scratch. Like, I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah. But dude, that turned out to be my favorite and most memorable video, and I feel like for a lot of people, that's kind of freaking genius. Like you went into a wordplay, into kind of like throughout the whole thing, so you didn't stop on 2 songs. You went to 3 songs.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, that's freaking props, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was. I don't know, like you know, like Shane Canfield.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's like super famous and like more important than all of us now. All of us lowly peasants. Does the 3 style. Sorry, he deserves it. He's a freaking genius. Yeah. He's gonna be a future GOAT, no doubt. I have faith in the man. That was just like one of those things. He always says it's more of like an intuition than like you can't teach someone to like listen to a song and then have their brain automatically like think of like that note sounds like that note, or like that word goes into that word. Like it's just like it's up here. Like it just comes there. Like you did what? It was RNP and then you did it into like Mercy, like the okay. Yeah. Like you did like that. You can't teach that. You can't teach someone to like listen to a song and be like, all right, where are your word plays here, here, and here? You know what I mean? Like you have to just have like the musical catalog and knowledge to be able to do that. And that's a very unique skill that like some people just have to practice a lot to learn, you know?
Got you,
And
got you.
yeah. So,
Appreciate it,
but
man.
no, I had no idea what I was doing, dude. I was still those videos are still from my apartment when I had my day job back in Indiana.
Oh man. Wow.
Hmm
Oh, you lived in Indiana too.
hmm
Wow.
okay, so I had no idea who like Shane or any of those guys were because I was traveling. So like my base was in Indiana, but I traveled all around the country for like a year and a half. I was in Indiana maybe like 6 months out of the 18 plus months that I was actually like working out of that state.
Mm,
So I was
wow.
just in a different city like every week pretty much, just traveling
Living,
around.
living the dream, man.
Kind of. I can't go back to a day job now. I mean, my whole life has never been a cubicle, so I would lose my mind if I was. So,
Oh, dude, same. But what would be your most memorable and favorite video that you've ever made?
gosh, I'm not nearly prepared enough for this. That question is way out of my reach. I would
Because you,
say my DMC one, like the regional qualifier when I did that. It was my fuck Donald Trump routine where I did like the chin juggle.
oh
Um, that
yeah,
was that was really fun. Because there's one of those things like I knew like going to that event or like doing those routines like at the DMC that I was like I am not going to be able to like out scratch, like some of these guys who have been doing this their whole life. You know what I mean? Like I have been on turntables maybe a year, but like I was practicing like very very diligently.
hmm
But but like like I'm walking up there and these guys are doing these crazy like triplet scratches and like they could DJ with their eyes closed, like just cut it up, and I'm sitting there just
yeah,
like what? Like,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
knew that I couldn't out scratch them, so I had to like just like outthink it, you know. So that entire routine is like some crazy like wordplay, like drawn out thing. It's like Three Style had sex with the DMC, and then like birthed my routine. So that was kind of like just the brainchild of it, and that's what made it different.
Yeah,
I
and you became a finalist, dude.
I did,
Crazy.
yes. And then I got
Yeah.
my shit smoked. And it's funny too because those like that Rain turntable, that was the first time I'd ever used it was at the DMC.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So like I literally I walked up there and I had never touched that turntable in my life. Like I walked up there and they had the Rain 72.
Yeah.
And that thing looks like a computer, like an old school. Like that thing looks crazy. Like you see all the buttons on it and like the knobs and the layouts. The S9 is so like clean and it's so like just symmetrical. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Where it's like with the Brain 72, you walk up there and you're like, this looks like I'm about to use this for like open heart surgery, like
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like fly a spaceship. Like this shit is nuts.
yeah. You're like,
Um,
hey, this is the crossfader. There's a screen right
that's
here.
exactly what it was, dude. I walked up there. I'm like, all right, here are my faders.
Yeah,
Perfect. And then, like that's pretty much what I did because like
yeah,
I didn't have a chance to get my hand on any sort of like rain gear. So like
yeah.
that's what I didn't tell anyone when I showed up there. Like they're like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then like dude, I put my hand on the turntable, and as soon as I put it on there, my first thought in my head was "fuck," because the Rain 12 is so light. Like it requires such a light touch. Like you can like it's not like on like a standard. I don't want to say like standard, but like on like how you have yours set up or something like that. It requires I would say a fairly heavy hand in comparison to like if you're using a controller or something like that. And I had never touched Rain gear. So I was practicing nonstop for 3 months on like my S9 and like my PLX 1000s. Then I go there and I put my hand on the Rain and then like literally my hand just goes like like it just like
Yeah.
shoots off the thing. And I'm just like, oh my God, I look like so stupid right now.
Good man. You pulled through, man. You got through your nerves and stuff.
Oh
What
yeah,
what
dude. I was having a panic attack on stage. I was freaking out.
yeah, was that your first battle?
Mhm.
Dude, what made you want to go to DMC and stuff?
I told myself that if it was like close I would do it, and then everyone's like, "Oh, it's in DC every year," and I was like, "Shit, no, I have to do it." Like, um, so I mean, it was just one of those things where I wanted to do the experience, just to say that I've done it, like done a battle and kind of like see where everyone's at, and then it gives you a chance just to meet a bunch of like-minded individuals. There's a lot of great DJs in Richmond and a lot of people who put a lot of time into their craft, but I think a lot of those people get like overlooked sometimes just because people kind of just want to see you rock out on a Friday or Saturday and like get people dancing, which sucks because there's people all around town like Neil or like Lady Siren. Like they're nasty. Like they're really good. And like technically those people just they never get to showcase it. Or like Joe, DJ Phenom in town, really, really good. There's a bunch of other people I'm forgetting, and I feel like a terrible human being right now. Duffy's really good. Kenny's really good. Um,
Shout out. Yeah.
yeah, there's a bunch of like really great DJs around town, and I feel bad because those people always get overlooked. Or there's like Billy Crystal Fingers in town. That guy has like a crazy vinyl collection, and like it just gets like overshadowed just because everyone just wants to hear you play like the next Lizzo hit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just, oh yeah, yeah. Perry, Mass Effects is also another really great DJ in town. And like I said, a lot of those people just kind of get overlooked, which is a bummer. So, but
Yeah.
it's the reality. I'm sure you have that too, like in Portland, dude. I'm sure there's like so many times where you're like, I really want to play this record right now because I've been listening to it all week, and
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
one heard it. But that's just not the way things are anymore. You can't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Exactly, dude. What's your go-to line for people that request something that you just do not want to play?
Well, I have like peeves. Like there
Yeah.
is like definitely have like my big peeve is like people who have been drinking and eating food all night and have really bad breath and don't know it.
Oh, dude.
So like it's loud, like it's really loud. You can't hear a goddamn thing. And then you just have some Karen come up to you, right? Who's like just got like that SpongeBob rank bread. And she like talks to you, and I literally just want to take my pack of Orbit gum and just be
Oh.
like it's just like terrible, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to be really nice to people though, because like I said, like they're probably like hammered or been eating food all night, so they're just obviously like not in the right state of mind. So usually I my go-to line is kind of just like, oh yeah, like let me see if I have it in my library, and if I have it, I'll be like, let me see if I can get to it at some point. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
Right.
usually what I tell people.
Yeah.
Or if I'd already played it, I'm very honest with them. I'm not like, hey, you want to try? Like I'm not like standoffish or anything like that.
Yeah.
You really have to try to
Yeah.
like piss me off in order to like have that reaction out of me. So, and
Yeah.
that takes like a solid like hour and a half of straight hackling. So,
Dude. Yeah. Look, like my go-to one would be like yours was okay. Yeah. Let me see if I have it, and then they stay for a little bit. So like I'm typing in my computer and shit. So like what I have to do is like I'm like okay. Oh man, I left it at my home. Let my other laptop. I got yeah. Sorry, bro. I can't. Um, and then there's this one time I got super pissed. But they were really hammered, so they were grabbing drinks and stuff. Like the booth is like kind of close to the dance floor, um,
yeah.
in height.
Hmm.
So this girl comes up with her drink, and my tables are right here, and so she's like leaning over like this, and she's about to say something, and then she drops her drink on the equipment. So I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you need to
Yeah.
get out. Like, I'm like pissed at this point. And she like just yells like, I just wanted to tell you you're a great DJ. And I was like, oh fuck.
Now you're like, I'm yelling at you, and now you
Yeah.
probably hate me, and I feel like a terrible human. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was terrible, man. It was
That's like the kind of luck we would have. You'd be just you're sitting there and you're just like, God, this is like maybe my future wife, and I totally just but
yeah. I just kicked her out the club, bro.
yeah, 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 yeah. That was love it first drink poured on your mixer.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, no, but like yeah, so you did your DMC stuff, and then like I saw it, and then I was like, yo, this is dope. And then it was because of you that I got to meet DJ Babu and all these great DJs in LA, because I would have never signed up for DMC if it wasn't for you recommending me to. So Thank
Oh,
you, thank you.
really? So yeah, nice,
Yeah,
man. Good, good.
yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate
and it went well. You got like a chance to like meet because I think that's the most important thing. Like if you're there for your first time, to
it.
like
Yeah,
just meet a bunch of people, like that's like the most important thing in my opinion.
dude. Yeah, for sure. Like I met so many people. Like my set was terrible. I didn't even make it to the finals at all. I didn't practice.
Yeah.
So so yeah, so like they called me, like they emailed me, like, okay, hey, here's where we're gonna meet and stuff. Like, shit, I gotta buy my ticket to go down there. Like, this is a one in a time like opportunity, you know.
Yeah.
So so yeah, no, it was really dope to
Yeah.
meet all those people and stuff. So
Yeah. That's awesome. And you've had the chance to like stay in touch with them since then?
yeah, man, like I made a couple friends from the contestants to the dude. Do you know DJ Brace by any chance?
If I saw a picture, I'd be like, yeah, that's
Got you, got you. He's like a big DJ, like scratch DJ. He made like the fader where you can play with the pitch when you're going up and down while scratching.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you're
Dude,
talking
dude, I shook his hand, bro. He has the fader in his right hand, right?
about. Yeah.
So his fucking hands, so his left hand is small as fuck. But if
Yeah.
you look at his right hand, it's like he injected it with Hulk serum. It's it's fucking crazy. But yeah, I got to meet him and stuff. But yeah, man. Um, oh, dude, I love your SoundCloud mashups.
Oh, thanks, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I try to play it as much as I can, and I was recently going through it. I was like, dude, I didn't hear these ones like from your first volume one, and I
Mhm.
was like, dude, you need to make more mashups, bro. Like this is crazy. Um,
I always try to like whenever I do stuff like that, like if I sit down and I'm doing like edits for heavy hits or like just like stuff for like DJs in general, I am meet like that's like probably say like those mashups took me maybe like a day to do. You know what
mm,
I mean? But I don't want to sit down every day and just like rack my brain with like a Camelot key chart and like
yeah,
instrumentals all day. It's like I'll just be going crazy, like just trying different combinations and things like that.
right.
But I do like doing those like once or twice a month because I'm consistently giving edits like that to heavy hits and stuff. You know, I got to give them like the gems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
But
sure.
every once in a while, I hate the whole mentality of like keeping like the goodies for yourself and something like that. Because I feel like when it comes to like people who have produced original music, I understand like hanging on to like IDs and like teasing a new song or something like that. Like, how do you think Drake and J. Cole get like so many streams on their music from like teasing all these songs? But like when it comes to like edits in like such a small like niche community like DJing, I do think it's one of those things where like sharing is caring in a sense where it's like I'm really not a big person on the whole like I made these mashups so they're gonna be mine and these are my gems when the reality is it's like okay that's cool like that's great but like no one knows who you are and like that's not really gonna like leave a legacy, you know what I mean? Like I kind of just want everyone to have or at least have the option to have everything that I also have because I'm not very possessive of like my edits or things like that because that's just not who I am as a person. I think that like uh yeah, that's true too, Joel. Is that like the reality is if someone's I don't think someone's made like the Christopher Walking instrumental over like Give No Fucks one, but like when it comes to like the A Bebe like Laffy Taffy mashups and stuff like that, like someone's probably already done that, you know what I mean? And like someone's probably hanging on to it somewhere in like some like local market and no one has it, but the reality is that I get more satisfaction out of knowing that like you're able to like do some crazy thing with where the party at and then put the come down acapella over top of it and then it's like some crazy mashup that people are like it's nuts
Yeah,
which is I get more satisfaction out of knowing that people in Portland are dancing to that than just people in Richmond.
yeah,
So
man. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I played it a couple of times and it got
Bob's I haven't had a chance to play it, dude. I've literally been locked in my apartment.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, we're still closed out here too, but I do a couple Twitch stuff and like IG Live and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah.
how have
Um
those been going?
uh I feel like I get more support from Facebook, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah. but IG Lives is pretty, copyright heavy. Uh,
Yes, okay. I was about to mention that because that has been a very big issue with like a lot of people going live.
yeah,
I recommend people, hey, just put your videos on Pornhub. There's no copyright. Just saying.
dude,
I'm just
dude,
just
you're elected for that. Oh
just
my god.
providing information for the masses. Because
Yeah.
it was with Travis Scott one. Like I think I played like a Travis Scott song for like 30 seconds, not even, like 15 maybe, and I still got flagged for it. Then I
Mhm.
was sitting there just like, bro, what? Like
Oh,
so yeah, for the Pornhub one or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. It was one
wow.
song got flagged by like Universal Music Group or something like that. And I was just like, fine. Like I'll just work around it. It's fine. I'll figure it out. So
Yeah, dude, that's freaking crazy. Do you still post on Pornhub?
no, not yet, but there might be a resurgence depending on how long I'm locked in my apartment. We'll see. I have a lot of like routines and stuff that like I have, but like I just haven't been putting them up just because I've been spending so much time like just working on music and things like that, like actual like original productions and stuff like that.
Got you.
Mhm.
Would you ever get a Twitch and stuff like that, or?
I don't really want to at this point in time, just because I feel like there's just a lot of people doing it right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And that's not saying that like if I went live, like everyone would watch because like there's a bunch of other DJs who do it just as well, if not better than what I do. You know what I'm saying? Um, but if I'm not financially like struggling at this point in time, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, why should I potentially like take away from someone who needs to like hustle for that?
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's kind of like morally where I like have drawn back on that. Because like I know people who have like a wife and kids who are full-time DJs. And like maybe they don't want to, maybe they don't feel like going live and DJing, but like they have to. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And also like people just like doing it for fun too. You know what I mean? But it's at the point now too where it's like, do I want to spend my time producing music or do I want to spend my time going live and DJing?
Got you.
Because
So
like I'm not gonna have time to produce later, but I am gonna have time to DJ. Like I'm always gonna have time to DJ at some point. So I need
yeah,
to pick. So right now it's like production focused heavy.
production.
So
Yeah, I have a friend like that too that just like recently just you know just put all of his time into production. You know.
mhm.
What have you been working on like production wise? Like what have you been listening to lately?
So, like, I mean, I've listened to everything under the sun. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of like Latin and like Afrobeat, like in my spare time, just to like cleanse the palate, because like I just listen to hip hop all the time. That like I just need something else at the end of the day, just to kind of like, just to reset. And Afrobeat's definitely like an underrated genre in my opinion. Like Latin's had like a huge like pop off and stuff like that in the last couple years, but I do think that like you'll see that with like Afrobeat. But in
Mhm.
terms of music that I've been working on, like I've been listening to like a lot of like chill hop and like lo-fi recently.
Same.
Um, so my the whole like because I'm like currently it's like an 8 song like beat tape slash like album thing is what I'm working on.
Mhm.
I haven't come up with the title for it yet, but the concept has already been done and all of the music is already made. I'm just mixing and mastering all the music right now.
Got you.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been producing like on and off, I would say, for roughly like 3, almost 4 years now. I'm no like genius when it comes to like mixing and mastering, but you're not going to get any better by not like practicing. So it's just one of those things where I've done a bunch of musical projects and things like that. And I've always been a big fan of like funk and soul, but trying to find a way to fuse that with hip hop while also like giving a little sprinkle of like electronic music in there as well
Yeah.
is what's always like been fascinating for me.
Yeah.
I would say because like the album is you ever listen to like the lo-fi beats the study to playlists or anything like that on Spotify?
Ooh, no, I would have to get up on
It's
that.
very like if you're doing like homework or something like that, like if you were in school and you were doing homework, It's just like you could put that on and just like vibe out and just like do whatever you're working on. Uh, it's a 8 song tape, but like the tracks are called, I have them right here. So the tracks are called Hello, Conception, Highs, Lows, Empty Nest Blues, Golden Years, Legacy, and then Goodbye. So the entire concept of the album is it's an entire like lo-fi chill hop album that follows the life and progression of a human being. So like Hello is when the guy like meets a girl for the first time. Conception is when they have their child for the first time. The highs are the highs of parenting. The lows are the lows of parenting. Emptiness Blues is a song about when their kid leaves the house and they're like sad because they have that like separation from their child. Golden Years is, you know, like those senior citizen like years and stuff like that. Like your 50s, 60s, were able to like still kind of like travel around and do things together. So it's like that couple kind of like reigniting like what they may have lost when they were parents. And then Legacy is about their child, them being comfortable knowing that like their child's like independent and can like that's their legacy is their child. And then Goodbye is like them passing away.
Dude.
Yeah. So the entire album is an actual like progression of a human life.
Wow. That's deep.
I know. I came up with it in 5 minutes too.
When do you think that will come out?
Probably early June. I mean, not early June, sorry. Late July, maybe early August, but I'm pushing for early July, late June right now.
Hey.
So because the mixes are going to be done early this week, like Tuesday, Wednesday is when it's all going to like be done. Then I'm gonna do a rough master for each one. I have a group of friends that I like trust, like with like listening to stuff like that. So I'll send all the demos to them, and they pretty much like they have like the studio monitor set up and stuff like that, so they can sit there and they can say like, okay, you know, like the snare needs to come down, maybe do some like light compression on this, or like maybe add some of this here and here, like et cetera, so on and so forth. So then they'll send me back their feedback. I'll take it into consideration. I'll make my last finishing touches. Should be done about like around June 20th ish, hopefully. And then I just put together like a marketing plan and then
there you go.
Put it out.
Well, shit, man. Yeah, Instagram only gives us an hour and we have a minute left. So I appreciate you coming on, man. Like, finally got to meet you. You know, I'll be looking forward to your album. And thank y'all for tuning in. You could follow him at DJ AndOne on everything, right?
Yeah, it's DJ AndOne Music for everything.
Music, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't follow me, follow him. I'm not important. Don't follow me, follow him.
You good,
yeah.
Man.
No, I appreciate you having a conversation with me, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Stay safe, wash your hands, you know, wear a mask, all that good stuff.
Definitely, man. And we'll catch up in the future for sure. Like you're one of my inspirations, man. So
thanks, dude. I appreciate it. That means a lot, actually.
All right, man. Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
All right, peace out, bro. Have a good one.